Hello? Are we rolling?
Yeah.
Hi, my name.
Is that how you want to do it?
I guess not.
Hello?
Hey, everybody. You're listening to episode number 12 of The Long Take. My friend Ken and I like to get together and talk about movies and things. And this episode will be completely devoted to the 87th Academy Awards, the Oscars. They aired the night before last, Sunday night. So it's still pretty fresh in my mind, and Ken, you're in a different time zone. So does that mean it's fresher in your mind? Because I mean, you've got a 3 hour, you got those 3 hours on me.
Yeah, in fact, they just aired over here.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you've got
it's pretty incredible.
I'll
Incredibly boring. You know what I mean?
You hit hard below the belt.
Ooh, yeah.
Below the belt, Ken.
Speaking of below the belt, how about that penis of Neil Patrick Harris?
Yeah, it's the second time I've seen it.
That's true. I feel like I've seen his penis.
I realize now that sounds like I could have, he's gay, and if I've seen his penis multiple times, maybe that means I'm gay.
Maybe.
That's not what that means.
It could.
No, that was me bringing up that he showed his penis very briefly in Gone Girl. That's what I was referring to.
Oh, so it's not referring to you being gay. Okay. Well,
No, it has nothing to do with my homosexuality. So, speaking of Neil Patrick Harris, I think that's a good place to start. He was the host of the Shindig. He was the first person you see on the stage. And I don't know about you, but I was excited because of the way that I've seen the song, the opening song, when Seth MacFarlane hosted it, it was like really terrible, and just kind of cringeworthy. Neil Patrick Harris kind of had me going. I think you have a different opinion. You weren't too crazy about the song. I like the Jack Black part. Before we go into that, what did you think? What did you think about the opening number? Because that's usually a big deal, with these award shows.
Yeah, All right, so I watched it after the fact because I missed the first 15 minutes live.
What were you doing?
Huh?
What were you doing?
We were at the mall.
You're like the last person I would expect to not be able to watch the.
It's hard over here. At least it starts at 5:30 here. So, yeah. We were at the mall, and then I was like, we got to get going because the Oscars.
Was Christina like, I want to go to the mall, and you're like, oh, but baby,
no, she wanted to watch it. She wanted to play Oscar Bingo, which I won 2 times over, by the way, because.
Oh, you gotta let the girls win, Ken.
Yeah, well, bingo's bingo. You can't just let people win in bingo. Either you win or you lose, Oh,
that's true.
Important life lesson from King Guidry.
How do you play Oscar Bingo?
It's like different things you expect to happen at the Oscars, arranged in bingo style. So if someone says, "I'd like to thank my wife," like bingo, oh, that's one bingo, or I don't know. What do you say? You don't say anything. You just cross that one off.
Ooh, and then you get that's a bingo.
Yeah. All right, Christoph Waltz, and so that's how we played that game, but and I won anyway. So because I win things.
Yeah. No, I just watched it. I don't need anything extra to enjoy the Academy Awards. I just watched it. Yeah.
Are you sure? Bingo. You don't need any alcohol or just. Some sedative to get you through the Oscars. I mean,
I did take a drink every time that Neil Patrick Harris made me roll my eyes.
And how many times was that ultimately?
I didn't catch the second half of the show. Who won Best Picture?
Birdman or I'm done with that title. I'm not going to talk about the virtual art of affluence.
The virtual art of foreplay.
The virtual art of foreplay, exactly. It's a virtual reality type movie. So okay, the opening. But I watched the opening sequence. Finally, the next day, and I gotta tell you, I thought it was as bland as pound cake. Yeah.
Maybe I had to see it live. No, I'm just kidding. But I kind of dug the projection stuff. I thought that was a nice touch, and I liked that they were kind of. I mean, I wasn't like crying because it was so beautiful, but I didn't think it was bad.
I just thought it was bland. You know, it was just
Yeah.
kind of like they were singing like the song. The lyrics were just like the blandest lyrics ever. It was just like
What was he singing about? Like movies on
movies
film
are on film projected, and you watch them through your eyes. Then you enjoy the movies that you see, and then you go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to. And then Jack Black was like, "Wait a minute, superhero films exist." Yada 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 boo ba doo ba doo, and they're like, "Get out of here, Jack Black." So I like the Jack Black aspect of it, but then I don't like how it like ended up. It was just like, "Get out of here, Jack Black." I was more like it would have been cool if they joined him.
Yeah.
But they were just like, "Get out of here."
That I'll definitely say that it didn't end the way that I hoped it would. You know, it was kind of like anticlimactic because Jack Black came out and kind of stole the show because he was saying all the stuff that you and I have actually complained about. Some of the stuff he was talking about. You know, and people like watching movies on their cell phones.
Yeah,
and stuff
that was pretty good.
And I think that that was planned. That takes balls for the. Maybe it doesn't take balls, but it's interesting that they would kind of point out the flaw with cinema today on the night where they're celebrating cinema. So, I thought that was cool.
I think it's good to have a sense of humor about the state of the industry. I mean, it was a really tumultuous time, especially with the Sony hacks and all that stuff. So I think it was.
Oh, they didn't talk about that at all.
Did they? I thought they did.
When did they talk about the Sony hack?
Oh no, wait! James Franco did at the SNL 40. That's right. At Saturday Night Live 40 anniversary. Sorry, I'm getting the awards mixed up.
You're getting your events mixed up.
But remember when Kanye West interrupted the Oscar? No, wait. No. But then when Bill Murray sang about Jaws, no, that was SNL 40. Oh, shit. When they sang Glory at the Grammys. Oh, they did sing Glory at the Grammys.
No, they sang Glory. You're right about okay.
But they sang it at the Oscars, too. There have been 3 events in 3 weeks. Like the Grammys, SNL 40, and the Oscars. 3 weeks in a row. I can go like 5-10 months without watching another like award type event show.
Well, that's good because the Oscars are like the last one for a while.
Until the MTV Movie Awards.
Right. So
No comment.
Neil Patrick Harris didn't take very long. His opening speech bit, which that's another thing that I look forward to. Usually, that's when people kind of kill it. I remember Jon Stewart's was really, really good, if I remember correctly. But bringing out right away what the internet and everybody's been saying, which is how these are very, very white Academy Awards. Not a lot of black nominees, not really any, aside from giving Glory the Best Picture nomination. So I don't know, that made me chuckle. But it was like, okay, they're not afraid to make a joke about that. I didn't know what to expect from Neil Patrick Harris, because I've never seen him do anything like this before.
Well, hasn't he hosted other like the Tonys and stuff like that, and like the
yeah, but I don't watch the Tonys.
Yeah, me neither. As much as a fan of I am
like
about
going to a show, but I've never watched the Tonys. I'm not really up on it that well, so that I can follow something and appreciate it. Something like the Tony Awards, but yeah. So what do you think? Should we start talking about some of these winners?
Let's talk about. I kind of remember who we predicted. So let's talk about that because I think we were right about Interstellar winning visual effects for sure. I think we both agreed that would win. And
well, let's go to it. Let's start with the big one.
Fine, Jesus. Fucking Best Picture. Okay, so here's what happened. I was texting you. I was like, listen, I think we should redo our Oscar predictions because we said Boyhood a month ago, but at that point, a couple of days ago, we already knew. I don't know if you knew, but I already knew Birdman was going to win.
Yeah, you heard some things and you wanted to flip-flop. You wanted to change your mind, backstep.
It's hard.
And I said, no, you're not going to backpedal. You made a decision, now stick with it.
Fine, but I'm telling you, I knew what was happening. And it's because it's kind of hard to really figure out what happened because they just completely, the whole hype, because you know, for actors and like the whole acting categories, nothing changed really. I mean,
Yeah, those
Redmayne
are
was
completely
like
predictable.
slightly different surprise, but you know, he won the SAG award, and then he won.
Yeah, it was going to be him or Keaton, and when he won the Golden Globe and the SAG, you're like, all right, it's going to be him for the
Yeah,
Oscars too.
but everything else, Julianne Moore was winning everything. Patricia Arquette was
Yeah.
winning everything. J.K. Simmons was winning everything. So the question remained was with Best Picture, and it just seemed like Boyhood.
Best director.
Yeah, I think what happened was Boyhood was just around too long, and I think that there wasn't much of a like defense there from the studio, because everyone was just talking about how like everyone was just kind of tired about talking about the fact
The
that
story, the achievement,
the-
the experiment.
the incredibly successful experiment and achievement, and how it was like hanging over their heads for too long, and they were just tired of like, hearing
like,
about
we
it,
get it. we
which
get it.
is
Next.
fucking stupid, but that's how it
yeah.
works, you know.
Yeah. Those jaded Oscar voters.
So Birdman winds up winning, and now I'm not a huge fan of Birdman, but
Yeah, it didn't even make your top 10, if I'm not mistaken.
it didn't even make
Made
my top 25. But that's
Made my top 10. But
it's not
no, I'm just kidding.
neither here or there. Although it's kind of here and a little bit there, but here, look. All right, I'm glad Imitation Game, Theory of Everything, American Sniper didn't win. You know, Whiplash was never going to win, so there was nothing like that. You know, but when you watch that performance of Glory at the Oscars and everyone's doing a standing ovation, you're like, okay,
Yeah,
that's
Chris
the
Pine
Best
had
Picture winner.
tears in his eyes. I wanted to give him a hug.
Yeah, but at that moment I was like, how is Selma not the Best Picture winner at this point? You know what I mean? How did it not get all those nominations? It just felt like a even more giant mistake than a month ago, because like that performance just knocked the house down, and that's only a taste of how great Selma is. You know, like that came like towards the end of the movie, but the movie is that level. It's a great
Right.
film.
Yeah, it had everybody on their feet, and
It's a rousing movie.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe that just means that these awards don't mean shit.
Yeah, I guess so. But nevertheless, it just kind of, the standing ovation kind of felt hollow a little bit. You know, like, it was great to see
What
like
do you mean?
some tears, but it's like, you guys really loved this performance, but where was the fucking nominations? How is it that
Well, the people that were that were standing on their feet were like, the people that were in the crowd. Are the voters in the crowd with the actors and the nominees?
probably
right?
not all of them, but I mean,
Yeah.
most of the Academy's there. You know, I
I
mean,
feel like the overwhelming support for the movie came from actors, actresses, directors.
but even then, I
that
mean,
make movies.
the Actors Guild is what nominates, Best Actor, and where's David Oyelowo? You know what I mean? Why is Bradley Cooper in there and not David Oyelowo? It's just,
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like there are enough reasons to be a little bit pissed off that
I think it's a little hollow just because it comes at the time when we've had a very weird year with racial tension. Ferguson, and in New York, the man gets choked on the street, and it's filmed, and people don't go to jail for things like that, and it's relevant. You see something that brings you back to the civil rights movement, which, God, that was the 60s. That was a long time ago, but not much has changed, and it's popular. It's popular to stand up and applaud that. That's why, I was kind of like, all right, of course you're gonna give it a standing ovation. I didn't expect to see some of the I don't know, Chris Pine crying. That was kind of like, whoa, look at Chris Pine crying. Not just because he's white. Yeah, it's because he's white. I don't know.
I was choked up with that. I mean, that was probably one of the best. I think that was the best Oscar musical performance since those little Irish lads from Once. You remember that when they sang that song? The movie Once. They performed that song "Falling Slowly," I think it's called, 9 years ago.
Falling
Yeah,
slowly.
and that was an incredible performance. And then they won.
I don't remember that.
They won Best Song, and the dude, I think Glenn Hansard, I think his name is, did his little speech, and then the girl who sang it with him was about to do a speech, but they cut her off, and then they went to commercial, and then Jon Stewart, who was the host at the time, came back out, and he's like, so and so, I can't remember what her name is, but she had something to say, and he let her finish her speech. and that was like it was a really great moment in the Oscars.
So he's like, Academy Awards, I'm really happy for you, but I'm gonna let you finish. But this girl needs to make her speech.
Yeah, that was before the Taylor Swift incident. But it was a great moment and a great performance.
I'm gonna look that up online. This is the first I'm hearing of this. This is 9 years ago, so this
was I think it was the 2007 Oscars or something like that. But yeah, so with Glory, probably more of an emotional situation, obviously.
Yeah. And that's what I don't want it to sound like I'm a cold bitter person when I'm like saying, Chris Pine's crying and he's a white guy. What annoys me was you show this story about this black man who did this incredible thing, and then you're panning the audience, and the people on the screen are like all the black actors that are in attendance. You see Oprah, you see David Oyelowo, and that's annoying. It's like, okay, we need a. Oh, there's a white guy who's crying. Let's put him on the screen. It's not like they're gonna show the person who doesn't care. But it's kind of just like I hate that they have to do that.
It was weird that they kept like cutting to Oprah. Anything Selma related, they cut right to Oprah.
She's in it and she produced it, but it's because. Oh yeah, and Lupita Nyong'o was there too.
Were those the only black people in the audience? Was Oprah, David Oyelowo, and like fucking Lupita Nyong'o? Did she? Yeah. Did she present? I missed the supporting actor thing.
She presented to J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
You know how they do it. They have the woman from one give to the man.
I was kind of sad that Cuarón didn't get to give Best Director to his buddy.
That would have been cool. I bet he wouldn't have called him a bastard or asked.
Oh yeah, that was Best
Green
Picture.
Card.
But yeah.
Director. You're right. Sorry.
I always wonder what Cuarón's doing that he couldn't do it, because he's not shooting anything right now. But
he's not working on anything.
But I can't remember who presented Best Director. Sean Penn presented Best Picture.
Best Picture. Who? I can't remember.
Ben Affleck. Yeah, that was kind of random. Ben Affleck doing it.
Because he won for Argo.
Not Best Director.
Not Best Director.
Remember, he wasn't even nominated.
He wasn't even nominated. Yeah, that is weird. Then.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to make up for not nominating him by saying, "Hey, but you get to present now."
That's bullshit. That's bullshit, Justin, and you know it's bullshit. You know.
I know it is.
Don't you want people say that, like, that's bullshit, and you know it. You know it's bullshit. But no one ever says, like, yeah, you're right. Why am I saying all this bullshit?
You're right, it is bullshit. I'm sorry.
But yeah.
How happy did it make you when the director from Ida was getting played off and he just kept going and the music stopped? This time these people have been a slave to the wrap it up music, and he's like the one who said, "No, I will not give up my seat. I will keep speaking."
Yeah.
And then the music just stopped. It's like, that's what happens if you don't shut up. The music just stops.
What are you going to do? Are they going to cut off his mic? No. I mean,
yeah.
if he keeps talking in an endless street, they can't cut him off. So
I just thought that was so funny and so perfect.
It's funny because they do so many other things to waste time in the Oscars that they get so like, oh my god, keep your speech to 20 seconds or we're going to play music for you. It's just... I used to feel that way, like when I was listening to movies, I was like, oh my god, speeches. But now it's like, these people, they're probably never going to win an Oscar ever again. Most likely they won't, so let them...
A lot of stars have to line up for you to be on that stage.
Exactly, so...
Thank everybody you want. And it sucks that they have to keep it down to so many seconds, because it's such a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a highlight to their careers. It's like the physical embodiment of the highlight of their career. Because they're standing there, all their peers are there clapping for them, looking at them, and and to expect that anybody could keep their composure, to thank everybody, it's they should just let them go till 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm. They should. But I did want to mention this: Best Director. Now, okay, obviously Iñárritu was going to win Director. That's kind of it makes sense that he wins.
It does make. I don't know how obvious it is when you got Wes Anderson and Richard Linklater there too.
But if Birdman's getting the buzz, it seemed like last month after Birdman, Boyhood lost like the Producers Guild, Directors Guild. It was like, all right, it's gonna be Iñárritu's year. That's fine. You know what? I'm glad it's Iñárritu and not like Morton Tildum. I'm glad it's a director of note, a director that I like. I'm interested in. a director
Yeah.
that's good, and I think he's a good director. And so it's not like a flash in the pan type thing, but like, because he had like Michelle Havas and Vicious or whatever from a couple years ago. And what has he done? He made he made a movie like last year, and I don't even think it has distribution. Or like Tom Hooper, who's kind of like, you know, he kind of fell on his face a little bit with Les Miserables, even though it got nominated for Best Picture. Like I think a lot of people come around to the fact that Les Miserables was not a good movie.
Yeah, but it made so much money, like, didn't it?
Oh
Didn't it
yeah,
do
yeah.
the box office?
I mean, critically, fell flat in his face. At least,
But who cares? Obviously, like these, it's not so much about the critics, is it? Because like American Sniper got a bunch of money, and I don't know how beloved it was by the critics, but
what I'm saying is that like, Tom Hooper, when he won Best Director for King's Speech, he was kind of a nobody. He just kind of came out of nowhere. And sure, Les Miserables did make money, but it was a very popular.
yeah, right. It's one of the most popular plays ever.
But like, you know, I would say that reaction from critics and audiences were fairly mixed. I mean, I know tons of women who loved the film, but I'm just saying that like,
Eddie Redmayne was in the movie.
yeah, exactly. But like, there are plenty of criticisms about like the way he chose to shoot the film and all that stuff. But what I'm saying though is that I'm glad it's someone who's been around for a while. You know, someone who's been doing it for
not somebody who's just
kind of came in, made a good prestige film. You made a good like biopic type film, and then he wins.
You like to reward the people that are working hard in the industry, and that they're going to keep working even if they're not getting nominated for this stuff.
And you know what's interesting is that so this year you had Iñárritu, Alejandro González Iñárritu.
Iñárritu, the accent is on the A.
Iñárritu. The previous year was Alfonso Cuarón. The previous year was Ang Lee. The previous year was Michelle Havas.
Oh, I'm seeing a trend here.
The previous year was Tom Hooper.
from the mysterious exotic land of England.
Justin, what do all those directors have in common?
Oh, I know this. They're all not American citizens.
Exactly. And who was the last American citizen to win Best Director?
I'm gonna guess that it was Catherine Bigelow.
She was a woman.
Yeah.
That like I mean, that part is not the craziest part, but it is kind of interesting how the last American director who won it was 5 years ago, and it was a woman. And we
Who was the last red-blooded American white man to win?
The Coen
Best
brothers
Director?
For No Country for Old Men.
Because that's like
before
kind of dating. That's a while.
Before Bigelow was Danny Boyle. So
and those are Jew. Aren't they Jews? So that doesn't count.
Oh yeah, they are Jews, right?
Sorry, I love the Coens. Don't get it twisted. I'm just joking. Just a joke.
I'm getting it pretty twisted over here. I'm getting all twisted up.
You better straighten it up real quick.
But yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. I wonder how long that's going to go on. I mean, it's a pretty interesting streak going on there, you know? Cause
hey man, it's cool. I like it.
It's the American Academy Award. It's America.
Well, let's see. Who do we got here? Wes Anderson, Texan. Richard Linklater, Texan. Bennett Miller, he's American, isn't he?
Yep.
And then Morton Tildum, Imitation Game. I'm just going to guess he's English. Let's see.
No, he's Norwegian.
Norwegian. I'm an idiot. Ignorant idiot.
Fucking
no, but so 3 out of 5 are Americans. So they're still the majority. It's just, a Mexican won it.
But I'm saying, like, a non-American has won it 5 years in a row. It's kind of interesting how that kind of works out, you know?
Well,
I just think it's interesting. I'm not saying it's
look
like
back at the long
bad.
stretch of the history of the Academy Awards and how many times have it only been American men nominated for directing. I still think we've got a long way to go before it's like, hey, we got to slow down here.
Yeah, but it usually would be like American or English born, but it's pretty cool that like the last 3 at least have been Taiwanese, Mexican, and Mexican. You know, I mean it's.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Academy is
Makes it
progressive.
fun.
I'm just saying it's pretty interesting how at least the Best Director winners have been a pretty diverse group. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Well, I'll move on from that point.
So we're gonna get on to the acting stuff. You want to talk? I mean, you were talking about how predictable this stuff
yeah.
is. So
I don't really think there's much to say about it other than that it was pretty predictable.
yeah, we all kind of called it.
I still haven't seen Still Alice, so I don't know how great Julianne Moore is, but I felt like almost a career win. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Celeste is a good movie, or she had a good performance. But even if she had like
She's portraying this person with Alzheimer's. You know, I have to see a lot of these movies. The only Best Actress nominee whose movie I saw was Rosamund Pike's. No, sorry, I saw Theory of Everything. So there's Felicity Jones. She was good.
I saw 2 Days, One Night. So I
2 Days, One Night. Yeah, that's one. And it's really cool that you see. Speaking of diversity and doing things that they don't normally do. You got Marion Cotillard playing a movie where she's speaking French the entire time, and she's nominated for Best Actress. That's nice.
It's pretty nice.
It's pretty nice. And I was wondering. I was like, I wonder if they're gonna give it to her because she's a great actress.
She is. I think. Yeah, she already won. She's already won one, so she doesn't.
Right, for playing. Was it Ida? No, that's the Polish movie.
It was LaVey and Rose. Edith Piaf, right?
Edith. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Edith.
Where she's playing the French.
Edith, not Ida. Edith.
Thank you, Saul.
All right.
But yeah, Julianne Moore has been acting forever, so it's cool that she's finally got that little golden statue to put on her mantle.
Yeah, it really is nice. I mean, you can't really complain about Julianne Moore winning an Oscar. It's just she had to win it eventually.
Look at this group here. Marion Cotillard already has one. Felicity Jones is a baby. Rosamund Pike, but she's done some. She's an English actress. I think this.
She
is the
should have
first time
won.
that
I don't know if she'll ever get a.
I know.
I don't know if she'll ever
that's
get a
how you
role
feel.
as juicy as Gone Girl. Maybe.
No, I mean, now that she's been in it, you don't think that people are going to be taking her seriously?
I just don't know if there's ever gonna. That was like a once in a lifetime role. It's just like she got everything in that role.
Yeah.
She put everything into that role, and maybe she will have another great performance in the future. But I'm just saying, like, she should have won. I still think she should have won. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm just looking at the list though, and Julianne Moore is the one that has like the most. Not what is it when seniority? There you go, seniority.
Yeah.
In that class, so she's the one who I guess gets it.
But Keaton, that wasn't good enough for Keaton in Birdman. Although he hasn't been in enough. He hasn't been in a lot of like great dramas.
He's not like the Julianne Moore of that group.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know who is. I don't think there is.
I don't think. Yeah, other than him, it's mostly newcomers to that category. I mean, Cooper's been nominated for 3 years, but in a row. But like, he's still pretty new to the whole thing. So, and he might be nominated next year. Who knows? He's got a couple.
I gotta say, it's like completely baffling me that this guy from like the asshole, like the bad guy in the Karate Kid, basically, of Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised that he's been able to like. Hangover probably has a lot to do with it because he proved that he wasn't like just capable of playing rich snobs or jerks.
Although he was a pretty snobby, jerky, rich guy in Hangover.
But he was like playing a parody of that, But yeah, I'm happy that Bradley Cooper is getting all this attention. But interesting though, American Sniper, all these nominations and no wins whatsoever.
One win. Sound.
Did it get a win?
Sound editing. Yeah, sound editing.
Was that on the telecast or was that like before the show started?
They telecast every single award, bro.
Best sound editing.
Every single one.
Oh no, it's not like the Grammys where they give out Grammys before the
show.
Oh
no, because that's supposed to have like 90. The Grammys have like 95 categories.
So many.
Dude.
You're right.
But no, they give sound the props, man.
Yeah, they do.
No, every Best Picture nominated film won an Oscar. Birdman won 4. American Sniper won 1. Boyhood won 1. Budapest Hotel won 4. Imitation Game won Best Adapted Screenplay. Selma won Original Song. Theory of Everything won Actor. Whiplash won 3 Oscars.
Supporting actor.
Editing,
and they were both surprises, right? Weren't you surprised when Whiplash was getting those awards?
Yeah, when Whiplash won editing.
Not for Simmons, but for the other two.
Yeah, editing and what was the other one? I actually thought it might pull. What was the third one that won?
I'm looking it up right now. Whiplash, Best
Sound Mixing. Right? Yeah, that was really surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it. I mean, it is great sound mixing the way they kind of made the music pop.
The way they mixed that sound, it was really mixed.
But you think about it, it is kind of hard to really pull off a jazz recording like that. Like it was really detailed. I thought,
Yeah.
And like especially the big drum solo and the big performances at the end. Sure. I think it's definitely well deserved. I was just surprised that they were willing to give it the proper recognition they gave it because it was going up against Interstellar and Birdman and American Sniper. So yeah, I mean that is really impressive, and I'm glad it won. I'm really glad. I was pleasantly surprised. With editing, I was a bit surprised that Boyhood didn't win or Budapest Hotel.
Exactly.
But I mean,
I was thinking the exact same thing when Whiplash won for best editing.
that was really surprising. I'm not sure if I was as glad with that one, but hey, I mean, I'm not mad about it. It's just like
shit, man. Aside from supporting actress, Boyhood didn't win anything. Am I mistaken?
yeah, I mean, there was rumors that the Academy wasn't too crazy at the film, and it turns out that was right. I mean, because I wasn't taking too much stack about that at first because 12 Years a Slave, there was rumors that a lot of the older Academy members didn't watch the film. So it was like, oh boy, you're like, oh boy, they're gonna blow this. But then it still won Best Picture. So I wasn't sure how serious this whole thing was with Boyhood, but
Yeah.
apparently they weren't that too impressed. I don't really know. I mean, you think about it, and I guess there aren't that many coming of age movies that win Best Picture in general. Maybe the Academy just doesn't really, like coming of age stories. Because if you think about it, what was the last one to win Best Picture? Like a coming of age story. I can't think of one. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like a movie where like a child actor is like the lead. You don't really see that. So maybe there's something to that.
I looked at Boyhood though. It's like, yes, it's a coming of age story, but it's also an expose on like the kind of like the modern American family over the course of someone's adolescence. And I just, it's a shame that when people are looking back, people that maybe this movie won't be forgotten, so I really don't think we have anything to worry about. But when people are looking back at like the nominees and the winners and the winners of these Academy Awards, because the nominees often get forgotten, it's too bad that Boyhood isn't going to pop up. But
but I told you before that I think that it helps that Boyhood didn't win because
it helps Boyhood. You think how?
Because this is not. This is a movie that doesn't need that kind of stigma, that kind of like this one Best Picture type thing. Like, oh my God, this must be the best movie of the year, because a lot of people think that way. Then they're totally caught by surprise. The movie doesn't really work like a typical Best Picture winner. And then they're disappointed by it, and they hate it. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it works. And so I'm glad it's going to be more of a discovery now. I think its legacy is that people are going to discover it and enjoy it instead of like being told you must see this film and then they're like disappointed. But
it's going to be kind of like a cult classic that was also nominated for Best Picture.
Something like that. I think it's going to have. I think the respect the movie has is going to sustain. I think that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it's once in a lifetime movie, for sure. I mean, no one's ever done it that way before, and I don't think.
Speaking of
what?
Sorry, just talking about Boyhood real quick. I remember we were talking about it when we were doing our top 10 list, and I took a moment to criticize the way that one actor was speaking, and I take that back because I was at work today and somebody was talking just like that. So people do talk like that apparently, and I'm sorry.
Which actor was it?
The one in the dark room when he was saying, "Do you know what you want to do, Mason? What do you want to be? You're gonna waste your life." That one scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was talking shit, and I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sure that actor appreciates your apology
if he ever listens to this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the screenplay categories were the biggest shock, I think. Although,
yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Can I just explain to you my mindset at this point of the show? So we're going along, right? Let's think about it. I mean, none of the really big awards were awarded yet, aside from supporting actor and supporting actress. And those were I like those picks. J.K. Simmons for Whiplash and Patricia Arquette for Boyhood, and she gave this rousing speech about women's rights and equality, and I was like, yes, I am woman, nice hear me roar.
Have you called, speaking of J.K. Simmons' speech, have you spoken to your mom, and have you called your mom?
No, I refuse to call my mom now.
I didn't call my mom either.
As kind of like as a result of that speech, I was like, you know what?
You're protesting?
You can't make me do anything, alright, J.K. Simmons?
State Farm guy?
Or the farmer. We are farmers, yeah. But, okay, so farmers. My mindset, though. My mindset. Let's get back to my mindset.
Yeah, you're rousing, you're hyped up.
Ida won for Best Foreign Language Film.
And he would not be silenced by that music.
Yeah, that's right. Going. And, basically everything was going along, and I was kind of getting, Emmanuel Lubezki won Birdman 2 years in a row. He won for best cinematography, and I predicted that, and that was cool.
You did.
I predicted.
Yeah,
remember, I was like, when the best production is on, I was like, Grand Budapest Hotel win. It will win, and I was right. I was right about makeup. I was right about costume design. I was right about which Oscars it would win, which is one of the most impressive things ever, and I should be applauded for that. All right, but so then I'm pretty sure. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm being facetious. I swear. Sometimes my tone you can't really tell, but here, this is what I'm trying to say though. Selma, Glory comes out, and it's like Glory. When that music drops and they're just saying Glory, holy shit!
Something about having a big choir.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
My jaw didn't drop, but I was like, because I have a pretty good handle of my muscles.
Okay, not like Eddie Redmayne in Theory of Everything.
Burn. ALS burn, but which is the best kind of burn. Okay, but
uncalled for thing, I think.
And then
terrible burn.
But I tweeted. I was like,
oh, you did.
I was basically like, stop the show because it's never gonna get better than this. And I was right, because then what happens? Look, I like Birdman. I don't need to explain myself with Birdman anymore, right? But
no one's attacking you. It's okay.
Come on, out of Boyhood, Grand Budapest Hotel, and Nightcrawler, Birdman wins over those three scripts. I mean, I was just really surprised. I mean, even though it won for Golden Globe for screenplay and yada yada yada. I don't know if did it win the Writers Guild. I think Wes Anderson won the Writers Guild award. But
this should have gone to Wes Anderson.
It should have.
Because it would be perfect if it went to Wes Anderson, because then you'd be like, it's not so bad, because the movie won Best Director and Best Picture. So for it to win Best Screenplay too, it's kind of like, all right, we get it. The Academy, you liked this movie, but you're talking about a guy who writes all of his own movies. He puts the pen to the paper, or he's typing. He puts his heart and his soul in these movies, and he's really hitting his stride. And now I wonder if he's ever going to be in the spotlight again, because you always have to wonder that with the Academy Awards. And here he is, Grand Budapest Hotel. It's like he's a shoo-in because he's a writer-director.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess you can say the way the Birdman was constructed, a lot of it has to do with the way the screenplay was constructed, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's better than Boyhood or Grand Budapest Hotel. I feel like story-wise, Grand Budapest Hotel just completely towers over Birdman. Birdman is not really much of a story. It's really a very intense character piece.
It's like an experience.
It's a great visual experience, but it's also very. I said this before. It's very wordy. There's almost too much dialogue. For a film that is really visually focused, it's almost too wordy and too talky for what it was trying to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, in the movie, there's a lot of close-ups where people are talking for an extended amount of time, and for something, I definitely see what you're saying. It didn't bother me as much as it bothered you, but I understand.
I'm just saying it's not like it was talking in a way that was kind of distracting for me, in that I didn't find it to be as clever as other people did, and I found some of like the, there's some moments like when Naomi Watts kisses it was Andrea Riseborough, I think it was. Yeah,
and
it's just like, I don't know. It was kind of a cheap moment. It was like
in the dressing room.
In the dressing room, it was kind of cheap. I didn't think it was earned.
Moment it kind of like weirded me out a little bit was like after that actress who kissed Naomi Watts. She, I think, earlier in the movie kisses Michael Keaton, and then she kind of like, I don't know, slaps him or something, and then she walks off and she's like, "Here we go," and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I felt like the women in the film were kind of all over the place, but not necessarily in a good way.
The only one I say with Emma Stone was alright in that movie. I really like Emma Stone.
Yeah, although when that one clip that they showed for Best Supporting Actress, that clip kind of like sums up my feelings about the movie. because
Where she's like, "You're right. You don't matter."
well, it's like, you don't even have a
Talk about your
Facebook,
Facebook
you don't have a
page,
Twitter,
yeah.
you don't have, you're not on YouTube, you're not on Instagram, you don't matter, and it's just like it's just too.
Yeah, but dude, like, you can't deny that what that movie is about is relevant. Because, like, not to knock you, but you're talking about how many like retweets and stuff your tweet had. Like, that's what
Yeah.
people care about.
Well, listen,
That's
my status in the Twitter sphere is important to me, but it doesn't. that doesn't mean it's important in the world of no. What I'm saying.
it's important to society. Like, that's what we think about. We think about how many likes we get when we say something online, or how much attention we're getting. And it's a narcissistic online society. And the movie it talks about that. Does it? I got what they were doing, and I appreciated it.
Well,
That's what I would say.
I mean, I also got what they were. I'm not saying I didn't get what they were doing. I'm saying I got it
But you didn't
tenfold.
appreciate it as much.
I feel like I overgot what they're doing. I feel like I was getting it.
Yeah. I'm not
too-
saying it went over your head. I'm just saying that you didn't like it as
It
much.
went under my body. That's how. Okay, fine. But I guess the more egregious one is the Imitation Game. When because at this point I was like, wow, Whiplash won 3 Academy Awards at this point. Could it
Yeah.
could it do it? Could it win the adapted screenplay? Because it felt like it had the momentum. And then Imitation Game wins its only Oscar, and it just you don't need to give every Best Picture nominee an Oscar. I mean, come on, guys. Did you really need to give Imitation Game this award?
It's probably a coincidence, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, the guy's speech was pretty cool, but
Well, remind me because I can't remember.
he was saying how he tried committing suicide.
Oh yeah, and follow your dreams and the inspirational, uplifting speech.
Mhm. It was a good speech, but doesn't mean that doesn't make the screenplay any better. It was actually one of my least favorite screenplays of the year, as far as like quality is concerned.
It makes me wonder, like I know they're voting on this stuff, but how did they vote for this?
I don't know,
When you
because-
have I would say The Theory of Everything was a better screenplay than The Imitation Game.
I would say so. Yeah, absolutely. I think
Definitely Whiplash, definitely Inherent
at
Vice.
least the everything has a clear through line, and I felt like a lot of times Imitation Game was going back and forth in its timeline without a real reason to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the childhood scenes. I would say all the childhood scenes weren't even necessary. I mean, because that one like payoff where he names the machine Chris, like okay, I guess that's an earned payoff, but it wasn't really. I mean, you don't need 20 minutes or 30 minutes of a backstory to get to that point. I just didn't think
I
it was
guess.
all that necessary.
Yeah.
They could.
I was thinking. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, because there's so much that they could have focused on in the latter years of his life, the latter days.
You're
of
right.
his life.
Yeah, a lot got forgotten, and that's like a lot of the hard hitting stuff. Like when Terrence Howard was up there talking, I thought he was getting emotional over Selma.
Yeah, that
and then
was
he
weird.
surprised me talking about the Imitation Game, and like a lot of the stuff about Turing, like you hear about what happens to him and you read about what happens to him before the credits roll,
Right.
But you don't see
Exactly.
it, and that's like the hard like. I don't know, man. With The Theory of Everything, you see all that stuff happening to Hawking,
Yeah.
throughout this. It was a long movie, and the second half of it, he's really suffering from ALS. The Imitation Game, it's all what happens before, all that he does, and it's cool that you're focusing on what he does, but that's not really like the story is about what happens to him in spite of the great.
It should have
thing that
been.
he
It
did.
should have been both what he did and what happens to him.
Yeah.
It should have been. It should have been equal, and I feel like, I feel like even those scenes where you see him building the machine was a little bit cheap because it just felt like your typical, like, loner genius type. It was very typical of a structure because everyone hates him at first, but then he
And they love
realizes
him.
he needs them, and then they work together, and it's very.
Yeah.
It's come on. That's your approach. It's just, there's so many things about Imitation Game that's just so. I talked about it before, but I would have been much happier if it walked away with no awards. It just.
Yeah.
And it would have been great if Inherent. I don't know where
Dude,
Inherent Vice wins.
Dude, I know because everything else is like, these are all these movies that people have been talking about. Big Hero 6 wins animated feature because that's the Disney movie, of course. I'm just looking at like the list, like the one dark horse in there where he really had a shot because PTA is another writer's director, or writer director. He's a guy who took this dense novel, this complicated novel, and turned it into a movie that, worked for me. And I just think it would have been really cool if, like, a bunch of, here comes, this guy that not too many people are aware of, unfortunately, and they'd be like, who or what? This, and maybe, maybe more people would see the movie.
You know what I will say about the winners overall?
Yeah.
I feel like the below the line categories, the sound editing, the sound mixing, cinematography, film editing, visual effects, Mega Mirror styling, comparing that to the big awards, when we look at those winners, we're like, yeah, that seems right. That seems right. For me, it's because probably the people who focus on those categories, the people who work in those specific sections, were voting for those categories the most. Like, I'm sure, because I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I'm sure those branches were, they knew what they were doing, and I'm sure a lot of big Academy Award folks didn't really know, you know what I mean. I think that a lot more people voted on the big stuff than the below the line stuff. So that if I wish I knew exactly how it worked, but I think that's what happens. I don't know if the above the line, the actors branch and the producers branch. I don't know if they vote for every category, but the below the line people, the people who are sound editors and composers and production design, they vote for their categories. And I know that foreign language film, you have to watch each movie in order to vote for that one. So
in its original language without subtitles or dubbing.
So I would say this. I will say this.
You have to learn the language before you watch it.
I will say this though. I think that's why those winners seem more correct. You're like, yeah, that sounds right, that would win. And I think that's why, the main 8 categories, right? The screenplay,
the big ones.
Yeah. I think that's why they seem less right, because I feel like they focus more on hype, and the below the line stuff actually focuses on what's actually the best original score, what's actually the best sound. That's what it seems like,
That's probably exactly right on the nose.
Because, come on. Why this stuff has been happening for a while, but it gets annoying, especially when Still Alice barely had a run in theaters before the end of 2014, and Julianne Moore was already winning every. It wasn't even a contest, and you had Rosamund Pike and Gone Girl. You even had Felicity Jones and Theory of Everything, who had a good performance. You had Marianne Cotillard and Reese Witherspoon, and I'm glad Julianne Moore won Best Actress for finally. But what I'm saying is, did you have to win the SAG and the Golden Globe and every single other award and all?
It's the hype train.
So that once you finally win, you're like, yeah, of course she won. I mean, there's some that are obvious, like J.K. Simmons. There's no doubt that he was going to win, But does that have to be for all 4 categories? How come there could be not one outlier ever?
Well, how does Best Animated Feature Film fit into this way of thinking for you? Because that's picked by, I guess, the animation section of the Academy, and why did they leave out a movie that's so beloved, like the Lego Movie, which was a really popular movie, and people were kind of shocked.
I think what happens is Disney has a better campaign strategy or marketing strategy, because a lot of is
their marketing strategy so good that they say Big Hero 6 needs to win and that other movie doesn't get to be nominated?
I think
because you got 4 other movies that also were nominated.
You got to think about how many animators who are in that branch have worked for Disney, who want to work for Disney again. You don't. It's tough to say. I mean, it's very. How many Disney films have won? In its history, right?
For animated feature film. I imagine quite a few, no?
Let's see. Finding Nemo, Incredibles, Ratatouille.
Yeah, I'm going back to
WALL-E, Up, Toy Story 3.
I'm going back to the whole history. It's Pen and Ink.
Oh.
I'm sure Disney's got plenty.
Oh yeah, in general, yeah. But I'm saying in that category alone, that's 9. 9 of Big Hero 6, Frozen, Brave, 3 years in a row, and then you have Toy Story 3 a couple of years before that. And Up, Wall-E, Ratatouille,
Hmm.
Incredibles, and Finding Nemo. 9 times out of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So Disney and Pixar have won 9 animated feature Oscars out of 14, out of the last 14 years when it started.
Holy shit! Hold on a second. This only started in 2000.
Yeah, the animated feature film category. Yeah, it's just
I did not know
that's
that.
the newest one.
Never mind.
Yeah,
That's why. Okay, I take that back.
yeah, Disney. Walt Disney used to get like special Oscars back in the day, and I thought that.
So you're saying like the Lion King doesn't have an animation award, or those movies?
No,
like-
I think it won Best Original Song, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's used to it used to
Okay.
be like where Disney would shine was Best Original Song
Right.
and stuff like that. But yeah,
So yeah, Disney, Rango, Disney.
yeah, and you look at Rango.
Disney, Happy
There's
Feet.
no Disney nominees in that category that year, so it's not even like the right. I'm pretty sure anyway.
Yeah, unless it's like sometimes Disney gets the rights to distribute like a Miyazaki film or something like that, right? Is that am I wrong? about
Yeah,
that?
it might. Yeah, maybe. Because that was the only year when that happened. Again, I mean, Lilo Stitch was the only Disney movie that was nominated that year, and yeah, I mean, that one would have been egregious if Spirited Away lost. That was so critically acclaimed and everything compared to
Yeah.
that was actually a weak year for animation. Although the next year, Brother Bear, and Triplets of Belleville, which I heard a lot of good things about Triplets of
Triplets
Belleville.
of Belleville is awesome.
I heard-
Have you ever seen that? I watched it.
I
It's on
haven't seen
Netflix.
it.
I don't know if it still is. It's really good. But,
But yeah, if you look at the years that Disney didn't win, it was
Yeah.
either like Cars was in the category or a non-Disney film. So it seems like Disney is just juggernaut. You can't
yeah.
it can't lose when it actually has a film nominated and it has enough hype, not the most but enough. It will
Yeah.
win, So it sucks.
Yeah, look, 2005 is kind of weird because you've got Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit, and only 3 nominees, but you got a Miyazaki movie, and then you've got Corpse Bride, which is stop motion. I guess that
Yeah.
counts as animation, and then you've got another.
No,
Wallace and
no-
Gromit, it's also stop motion.
Another stop motion. Yeah.
I wonder what Disney was doing in 2005.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, Pixar didn't have anything coming out, and in the 2000s, Disney original Disney films were at its low point.
Yeah, because they were still trying to figure out what they were
It was
doing.
around, it was
Pixar
around
kicking ass.
2008 when Bolt came out, when they started to pick up on the 3D animation stuff. But for the longest time, it was Pixar was doing the
Yeah.
work for them. So,
Right. So it's funny now that they have Disney's kicking ass with and Pixar also, and Disney's kind of collecting on 2 fronts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
not
what?
fair.
All right, so yeah, it was a pretty interesting year. So basically, there were some pleasant surprises in the lower categories, but not so pleasant surprises in the main ones. But overall, I mean, Neil Patrick Harris, he made some terrible jokes after the monologue.
No, yeah, I'm glad you brought him back up because I was trying to figure out a way to talk about him again. You weren't the biggest fan of Ellen Ellen DeGeneres' performance or hosting duties last year, am I right?
I thought she was at least better. I thought she was solid.
Yeah, not comparing it to her, going after it or after the show, were you happy with the way that you thought she was solid?
Yeah, I didn't have any problems with her. I thought she was typical Ellen. I kind of know what I'm going to get from her.
I kind of think that this time around, they were trying too much to kind of recapture, because she did a lot of things that you've never seen before. Where you're going into the crowd, not just making fun of the celebrities, but going in there, messing with them, taking pictures with them, giving them pizza, stuff like that. All that stuff is very her. And now you've got Harris walking through the crowd, trying to make jokes, like the one where he tried to get David Oyelowo to the punchline to a joke because he's got a British accent and it just sounds better or something like that. And you heard crickets in that theater. It's just really awkward and uncomfortable. There's another instance where he kind of froze for a second when he's talking to Steve Carell, and you didn't know. I kind of felt bad for the guy because it's just there's just silence. And luckily in that instance, Carell kind of saved him by making a joke about Ed Norton being right there across the aisle. But yeah, he really, I feel like he was really trying to do what Ellen did last year and just didn't succeed. He fell flat on his face. Especially, I was so tired of hearing about that fucking the prediction joke. He kept going back to
that was terrible.
What's that actress's name? He was like, "You watching it, or making sure nobody."
Octavia Spencer.
Octavia Spencer, yeah. Like, I felt bad for her too, because she's like, I'm sure she just wanted to enjoy the show, and now she's being called in on this terrible fucking joke.
Did you read my tweet about that?
No, I didn't hear what you said. What'd you say?
I said Neil Patrick Harris forgot to read the last note in his prediction box. Everyone will hate this running gag by the time this show is over.
Yeah.
Not to laugh at my own joke, but
but go ahead. No, that's pretty good. When he was finally doing the recap thing, I was like, all right, like, that's kind of good, but I don't know if it was worth bringing it up like every 15, 20 minutes throughout the whole broadcast.
It was really annoying.
You know? Yeah. Especially by the end, I was like, oh, enough with the box. Stop it.
Mm-hmm. Come on, what's in the box?
What's in the box?
Brad Pitt wouldn't have cared. He would have been like, I don't care what's in the box. Stop talking about the box.
So, let's just, not to get too overwhelmed on hosting, but that, like, when a host does a good job, it makes the show a little more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Neil Patrick Harris is going to be asked back next year. You know, do you have any predictions for next year? Jimmy Fallon, or?
It'd be interesting to see if they are willing to ask Jimmy Fallon to host.
Is it NBC? Who has it next year?
ABC has had it for a long time now, since the 70s.
ABC?
Yeah, it's always ABC. So
always ABC.
yeah, I would imagine that Jimmy Fallon. I mean, if it depends. It depends if he gets asked.
Jimmy Kimmel, because he's ABC's guy.
Yeah, but I've heard, like, they might like keeping him in the after the Oscars.
Oh yeah, he does that after show.
Mm-hmm.
Was that any good this year? I didn't watch that.
I didn't watch. I don't really care.
I haven't heard any headlines about it either, so I guess nothing happened.
I don't really care about Jimmy Kimmel really that much. But it depends. I mean, it'd be cool if Jon Stewart did it again. He did it twice, and
now that he's done with the Daily Show,
I mean, he'd have all the time in the world to do it. And the second time he hosted was way better than the first time. He seemed to have much more. He seemed much more at ease. I think if
what was the first year? Was it like early 2000 after Chris
Rock
had
was
done it a couple times?
Brokeback Mountain year, Brokeback and Crash year. So 2006. Okay. The ceremony was 2006 for 2005 movies, and then
he did it again in 2007.
Yeah,
he did it the year after.
2 years later. With
2 years later.
Remember the actual ceremony is a year after the movies come out. So.
Right. Oh, right.
But I would like to see Jon Stewart do it again. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they asked Ellen DeGeneres to do it again. I mean, sometimes they do every other year like that. They're not going to get Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, so just don't. That's never going to happen.
But do you ever see some? Like, has there ever been anybody who did really well with the Globes and went ahead and did the Oscars?
Interesting question.
I'm wondering. Like, I know Billy Crystal used to host the Oscars. Has he ever hosted the Golden Globes?
I don't know. I don't really know much about the Globes history, but I mean, I feel like that it's only been recently that they've really been focused on, having a really memorable host, But yeah. I mean, I haven't really watched the Globes. When Ricky Gervais started hosting, that's when I really started watching it. But yeah, I mean, I wish there was like a list, like they listed out.
I'm Googling it now, like hosted both Oscars and Globes. I'm not getting anything. I wonder if it's ever happened. But Ricky Gervais, I guess Jon Stewart. No, when I started paying attention to the host, to like good hosting duty, I guess was like Chris Rock. Because he used to do a pretty good job, if I'm not mistaken. I was a kid, so my sense of humor was a little different back then. But I guess my adult self, like I really liked, Jon Stewart and Ricky Gervais, those two, when they did the Globes or the Oscars and the Globes respectively. This one was like, they can really add that additional element where it's like providing appropriate, really good topical humor, making fun, jabbing the whole thing, just giving us something to laugh at in between awards.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I I would just say, I'll say it again. I just think that Neil Patrick Harris was just bland. I mean, the jokes were bad, but he wasn't shockingly bad. He wasn't James Franco bad. He wasn't like
James Franco and Hathaway set a new standard. Mostly Franco, but yeah, that was a failure.
he wasn't like horrendously offensively bad like Seth MacFarlane. He wasn't out of his prime bad like Billy Crystal was a couple of years ago. I would say he's in the middle of the pack for the past couple of years, but lower half. He just wasn't, because I think there were a lot of expectations for Neil Patrick Harris, but I think the problem is that he's not funny. Like, he can't make bad material sound funny. I think that's important. I think that's the gift of a good comedian. You think about like Bill Murray when he's in like a bad movie, he can still make bad lines sound funny. Or you think about like Jon Stewart. He can make sometimes he makes like stupid jokes and they're still pretty good. But Neil Patrick Harris, I think it's like his tone. He's just kind of like when he made that joke about like that pun after Citizen 4 won Best Documentary, and he was like something about treason.
He wasn't here for some treason.
Yeah.
Saying Edward Snowden couldn't be here tonight for some treason.
Yeah, that was. It was just so.
I liked that.
So stupid.
I thought that was. I didn't think it was like funny necessarily, but it was kind of like, wow, I can't believe you said that.
Well, I thought, wow, I can't believe you went for such a stupid joke. That's what I thought. But yeah, I mean, I for me that was like almost the icing on the cake. From like, all right, this is bad. This is bad, and you should feel bad.
Well, yeah, to touch on that, anytime somebody's doing something such, so big, like hosting the Oscars, and, people like us are watching it on TV, and we're, like, feeling bad for that person or embarrassed for that person, and that's saying something, because, like when he was doing that one, the jokes that are better when a British person says or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, I know he wishes he wasn't there right now. I wish he was somewhere else, anywhere else right now, than standing in the middle of that theater with all those people looking at him thinking what he's doing is not funny. Because it's just like, I don't know, it brings me back to like when you tell a joke in school or something and nobody thinks it's funny. Something, I don't know, that probably never happened to you.
Oh, no, I was always hilarious. But go on.
Yeah. Well, that's my point, though. I felt bad for the guy. And you think something like this that was, so planned and, so rehearsed that they would have been able to tighten it up by the time the show started.
I think it's also because he was going, like we said before, kind of the Ellen DeGeneres route of talking to the audience, and it just did not work. Ellen has more of a...
She's much more comfortable doing that kind of
and
stuff.
he clearly was not comfortable doing it at all. So I don't even know why would you repeat it like that? Why would you repeat what Ellen did the year before?
Probably ABC probably wanted him to do that because it got so much buzz. That selfie thing alone was like talked about endlessly throughout the course of the week.
But they didn't do anything buzzworthy at all. And yeah, sure, do it if you have a good idea. But if you don't have any good ideas, then don't do it. They literally went in there with nothing. They had nothing. They had a British person telling a joke that's funnier. That doesn't. You know what? I was like, why don't you just have David Oyelowo host then? If you're gonna say that kind of shit.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a swing and a miss. Really, it was kind of like he was. He didn't swing at all. He was like.
No, he
didn't. They didn't take. Any
he was
chances.
still in his batting stance, and it was a strike.
Yeah. And those pitches are just going right by.
Yeah, and it felt like...
What we're doing right now is making a baseball reference.
Yes, that's baseball. In America, it's called baseball. And everywhere else, it's also called baseball, but they don't play it as often. But, all right, so... But, overall, how do you... a couple of days have gone by... for me, the memory of the Oscars is really quickly receding to the back of my mind, like it usually does. You start to realize, none of this shit really matters. And yet, next year, a couple, 10 months from now, in December, January, we're gonna be back obsessing over this shit.
Be talking about it. it's it's like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you got a favorite team, and you want it to make the Super Bowl. That's like your favorite movie. Is it going to make it to the playoffs? Is it going to get nominated? I'm getting really deep with the sports references right now. But
I think
at the end of the season,
yeah.
At the end of the season, when a team wins, or like when a movie wins Best Picture, you start to wonder, like, all right, well, now it starts all over. So what was the point of all that anyway? What's the point of it at all? The Oscars are really just, I guess, an excuse for everybody to get together and celebrate movies, and that's cool. But you can't get too bogged down about what wins, what loses. You hope that it's just a fun night, a memorable night. And I think these Oscars were really kind of forgettable.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. And as far as Birdman winning Best Picture, I mean, I'll give it another shot, but I didn't like the movie as much as you did. But I will say that it's still an idiosyncratic choice. It's a kind of a weird choice for Best Picture. It's kind of out there a little bit. I mean, you think about, like, the last time they really went out there for Best Picture, like, maybe you could say The Hurt Locker, maybe No Country for Old Men, just because they were actually awarding a Coen Brothers movie, and that was just so... It was just strange seeing the Coen Brothers, who have been like these independent stalwarts for a long time, get Oscar recognition. That was a great moment. Even though I wanted There Will Be Blood to win, seeing these really shy Coen Brothers going up there for like a couple of awards, and I felt so good for them. And you know what? I felt pretty good for Iñárritu. I mean, I have nothing against the guy. And I'm really, not to get on a rant or anything, Justin, but it really kind of boggles my mind how up in arms people got about... They started hating on Twitter. They started to get annoyed by, like, Michael Keaton, because Independent Spirit Awards were the night before, and Birdman won a bunch of awards then too, and Michael Keaton won Best Actor. And I saw some complaint like, "Oh my God, Michael Keaton's been on the stage for like 20 minutes now. Come on." It's like now we're actually annoyed with Michael Keaton. 5 months ago, you were like, "Oh my God, Michael Keaton's back. I can't believe it." Now you're annoyed by him. It just...
People are never happy.
Did you realize it's all just part of the machinery that is the Oscars? It's just all part of the machinery. These guys, they're there. They're at these award ceremonies because they have to be there to further promote the film and support the film and be good sports. You saw, I don't know if you read the news article about Monique. Apparently she's been blackballed by Hollywood.
Blackballed her.
Yeah, because she wouldn't.
Well, that's what she said.
Yeah, but according to her, it's because she wouldn't play by the rules and really go out there on a limb for Precious before the Oscars. She showed up to the Oscars and all that, but before that, she wasn't really showing up to all the other award shows. And I guess people saw that as a sign of disrespect or whatnot. So I don't know. I think it's really, you kind of have to play ball. You kind of have to say the right things and give a good smile and goofy grin and just kind of plow through it. I mean, you think about someone like Joaquin Phoenix, who's kind of aloof in the press and he's not really comfortable with that kind of attention. And he'll get nominated, but every once in a while. But it's not surprising that he hasn't gotten Oscar glory yet because he's not someone who plays ball. And I think it really takes a performance that nobody can deny to just that they would be complete idiots if if Joaquin Phoenix gives a masterful performance, like Brando in Godfather or something like that. Brando didn't show up to that awards, but I think even if they knew a little Indian woman or girl was gonna do Brando's speech at the 1973 Oscars, I think they probably still would have given it to Brando because he was the freaking Godfather. I think that's what it takes to get an award no matter what. You think about J.K. Simmons, not the most prettiest man in the world, not the most maybe camera friendly when he's not because he did okay on Saturday Night Live, but you know. He's not exactly the most like photo. He's not the sexiest man, but he had this performance that no one can deny. He had to win. There was no.
Yeah,
and
there's no question.
And so that's what's great about the Oscars. You see someone like J.K. Simmons get the respect of his peers, and so it bothers me because you kind of. Because I think I made stinks in the past with like the King's Speech winning or the artist winning, and I was like, enough already, come on. But these are people. Like, they go up there on stage and they're humble and they're gracious and they say the right things and they're genuinely happy to be doing doing the work that they do. They're not like, yeah, I won, you piece of shit. I mean, I guess the only time that I feel that way is when like Sean Penn wins. Because it's like, or when Sean Penn does anything, because you have a feeling he just thinks he's better than anybody. He's better. Yeah. He's better than everything. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's really the only times when I'm like, all right, dude, sit down. But other than that, you look at again like Imitation Game when the screenwriter won. It was like, oh, god damn it. And then the guy goes up and gives a heartfelt speech, and you're like, this is just that. He's just a dude. He's just a guy who he won an award. Like, why am I trying so hard to hate the film? Like, who wins in that situation? No one. It's so stupid. They're so meaningless. So and I think what really gets me is that these critics and whatnot, or the people who write about movies and people who tweet about movies on Twitter and social media, they're like late 30s, 40s, sometimes 50 years old, and they're bitching like they've never seen the Oscars before. It just, come on, guys. Like, in a couple of days, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all in the past.
Well, you're already looking forward to next year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. So it's gonna be interesting next year because David O. Russell is gonna be back in the mix with Joy. That. Inarritu is going to be back in the mix with The Revenant. That Tarantino's going to be in the mix with Hateful Eight. O. Russell isn't exactly the most like. He doesn't have the biggest personality, but I will say this about O. Russell: when he was doing the rounds for Silver Linings Playbook before the Oscars, much was made about like his son having being bipolar. And that was like the inspiration to write Silver Linings Playbook, and again, same type of situation. Towards the end of like the marketing tour for Silver Linings Playbook and the Oscar campaign and all that, people were like, "Oh my god, again with the bipolar story. Oh my god, like does he have to keep talking about his son having bipolar?" It's like, what is wrong with you? You know what I mean? That's how it gets. It's just It's just hilarious. It's hilarious, and it's disappointing to see grown people, people who cover the Oscars for a living. Also, it's like, guys, this is what you do. How is it that this shit still bothers you? So, I mean, yeah, I just have to get that all off my chest. Sorry.
Do you feel better now?
A little better,
Okay.
But yeah, if you look at you look at the Oscars, the previous Oscar winners, and a couple of years from now, you're like, oh wow, Birdman, that was a pretty interesting pick. It's not a prestige film. I mean, Michael Keaton didn't win Best Actor, so it wasn't like it completed a comeback story. It's cool. I mean, not my favorite movie, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it winning, and I hope that.
Yeah, don't love it, but you don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, it takes. I will say, I mean, if it was another Weinstein film, and if Imitation Game somehow caught fire, I mean, that would have stuck in my craw a little bit, because at least...
What is a craw? I've heard that before.
Yeah, I've said it before.
It's like your side?
It sticks in my craw.
I heard it before you said it, alright?
No, I thought I invented it.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm just kidding. But no...
What is a craw? I'm curious.
Well, it's a noun, and it means the crop of a bird or insect. but it could also mean the stomach of a person or an animal. So stuck in my stomach. But sticks in my craw it's a common.
Yeah, it's a common expression. I just felt the need to ask.
Okay,
'Cause
well,
I don't think I've actually ever heard anybody say it to me.
well, I don't normally say it, but it seems to
No, you
fit
don't.
my
It does.
when I'm talking about things on.
I'm not criticizing your vocabulary. I was just curious if you could tell me what a crawl was because I wanted to know.
Well, I think not to criticize your vocabulary, but the fact that your vocabulary is so thin that you didn't know what craw was. I mean, oh, I'm sorry. I went exactly the opposite of what I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
And I criticized your vocabulary. Oh, Jesus.
You're hurting my feelings.
Vocabulary? Jeez, dude. Are you Harvard grad? It's word bank. I don't know. Anyway. But, what are your overall thoughts on these Oscars?
I'm ready to I'm ready to move on. I haven't really thought about them much since watching them. I enjoyed them while they were on, and then when they were over, I said, okay.
So wait, we spent like the last hour and change.
We were talking about a lot of the time we were talking about the movies. And that's what I like talking about. Like not to avoid your question, but you're asking me what I thought about the Oscars, and we're
Like overall the whole thing, the whole enchilada, the whole 9 yards.
Well, yeah. Do they mean anything? No. Are they fun? Yeah. Are they something to look forward to? Yeah. Do you like finding out who the nominees were, and do you like complaining? Oh, I can't believe that they left this movie out. That's what it's all about.
It's part of
for,
it,
for the people that saw a bunch of movies and liked a lot and feel strongly about stuff, and you're like, oh, how could they, leave this off? And then I think about last year when Spike Jonze got recognized for her,
Yeah.
and you're like, about time that a guy like that, he deserves that. I like them, and at the same time I recognize how little they really mean or matter, but I also kind of they keep the machine going. It's like the end of the season. It's a cyclical.
Yeah,
things.
Doesn't it feel like a certain not a weight, but doesn't it just feel like a new, every time the Oscars are over, it's like it's when I finally start looking forward to the new year. It's like, oh, what?
Yeah, it's like everything resets, and that there aren't usually going to be like those big, dramatic, important movies until later on in the year, and you can kind of just relax and look forward to what's coming, and start anticipating, start checking the calendar or circling days for when the movies that you want to see come out and stuff.
Yeah,
it's a cycle, and I like paying attention to it.
And hey, I'm not saying you can't complain when your favorite film doesn't win. I'm just saying, just ease.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick about it. I mean, I think that's a good rule in general. Just stop being a dick. I mean, we don't have no one has time for that. So, and you know what? Even though we're both kind of burnt out on awards, I mean, I don't even see how we could possibly even talk about any more awards. But you know what, Justin? I think it's time for the first annual JK Awards.
Do we have theme music?
Boom,
da 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 da. Boom, 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 boom.
It's the JK Awards, celebrating movies after everyone else celebrated movies. It's really unnecessary, but we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. JK Award.
Motherfucker
remix.
Sorry, I felt so inclined to I feel like we touched on we needed to touch on a little hardcore rap.
Motherfucking JK Awards.
That's never on the prestigious awards. You're never gonna see somebody on the stage like, welcome to the motherfucking Oscars.
We in this bitch now.
I want them to get 2 Chainz to host next
They
year.
should. That's a great suggestion. I like that one.
right. Yeah, curveball. But yeah, not to get too rowdy, but this is this isn't a kids show. This is serious business.
This is a family show, actually. See, when I imagine people sitting around by the radio, by the campfire, and listening to the podcast and giggling, but because our jokes are inoffensive and safe. That's what I think. But, I mean, if you want to fucking curse off and run off the mouth of something you shouldn't say, like Eminem would say in the song Kill You, then...
Run off at the mouth? Nice.
Yeah, running off the mouth of something I shouldn't have said. Which... It's weird that I still know Eminem lyrics from 15 years ago. But
I'm gonna be another rapper dad for popping off at the mouth of shit I shouldn't have said.
Exactly.
So it's popping off.
Oh, popping off. Yeah.
But I get it's the same general thing that you're trying to say.
So we're gonna go take a little break, and then we're gonna come back, and we're going to start the JK Award ceremony. Get your tuxes, get your cane and your top hat. This is going to be a very classy affair. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in the middle of the ocean, and the
interesting venue.
Yeah, we're doing this in the middle of the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. So this is going to be fun, and watch out because Robert Redford from All Is Lost is going to be. Oh wait, that's last year. Oh shit. Okay, but we're going to take a break, and this is the long take.
You'll be right. You'll be right back. We'll be right back.
And you're going to be right back.